Hello and welcome to episode 10 of Crestie Conversations here on the Geckoverse podcast channel. Welcome in. I'm glad you're here. Who's ready to talk about geckos? Alright, so last time on Crestie Conversations, we talked about collaborations in the Geckoverse and how to navigate those safely to ensure that both parties come out happy at the end. So, if you're looking to get into a collab or you've been doing collabs before, and just need a new way to spice it up a little bit, make sure that you're covered, make sure the other person's covered, go ahead and go check that out. All right, but this week on Crested Conversations, we are getting into Lineage, Crested Gecko Lineage. Now, whether you're a full-time breeder, a small hobbyist, or just a passionate gecko lover, Lineage is very important in ensuring responsible breeding, genetic diversity, and of course, all of those beautiful morphs that we have come to love. Anyone in the chat, what is your favorite morphs that y'all have that y'all want to get? I know my favorite right now is the Extreme Harlequin, Lily White. I love bicolors as well. But of course, we also have Xanthic, Cappuccino. On the other end, we have the olive, patternless, we have the tiger, we have pinstripe, quad stripe, all kinds of different morphs that we have. But tracking Lineage ensures that we all do it responsibly and safely. So, what is Lineage? Okay, Lineage, looking at it, is an ancestral line of the geckos that you're getting, meaning you're looking at the parents or the great grandparents of the gecko that you're wanting to get or already have. Now, tracking lineage is very important because you're looking at the genetic makeup of that gecko. You're looking at the history of the structure, the genetic makeup. You're looking at the colors that the parents have. You're looking at everything that you could possibly get out of what that gecko you're getting, what that gecko can produce. So you're getting basically a head start of knowing what that gecko will produce. So looking at parents really helps that. I also include the hatch date as well because that shows that, hey, you're taking an extra step. I like knowing their birthdays because I think it's cool. It shows another step that you're taking to that you're putting into, like, the effort you're putting into your geckos. Looking at the structure of the geckos, you want to make sure that you have, the small nose, the wide head, and the wide dorsal. I've gone over that in a few videos before here. Hey, Eddie, what's up? How you doing, man? Glad to see you here. I'm actually about to get out a gecko right now and show y'all what good structure looks like, in case y'all didn't know. So this is Scarlet. She is actually a grandmother, okay? This is Scarlet. Let me bring the camera down for a second so you can get a better look at her. Eddie. So, she is a lavender extreme harlequin. She has one spot on her right there. It kills me. But so, for great structure that you're looking for when you're getting a crested gecko, or looking at the lineage, you want the parents to have the traits. See how short this mouth is right here? It's not rounded over up top. She's going to jump on me here in a second, but just bear with me. And then she doesn't have the widest head, but basically you want to do a triangle on top and then a triangle on bottom. I'll show you her daughter here in a second, or actually I'll show you her son since we're tracking the lineage, because I have her son and then I also have her son's kids as well. So I have 3 generations from this line here. This came from Tara Lee Cresties, but you see the dorsal that I was talking about right here, it's as wide here as it is all the way down. That's what y'all looking at, and that's Scarlet. Okay, so when you're looking at a gecko that you want, again, you're looking at the health of it, making sure the eyes aren't sunken in. You're making sure they have all of their toes. No toes are missing. They don't have any extra toes. You want to look for back here signs of metabolic bone disease. So you'll see like a kinked back. It'll be very kinky. It won't be straight like that. So you want to make sure that your gecko is very healthy. It looks good. The nostrils are proper sizes. We'll go over that in a little bit here. So this is Scarlet. I'll get out. Do you want me to get out Heisenberg right now, or I think I'm going to go ahead and go on a little bit, and then I'll give you another treat because Heisenberg is actually a lily white. So I paired her, Scarlet, with a lily white. Now I'll get into lily whites are a gene or a morph that you cannot breed together, as well as cappuccino that produces supercaps. Both are known to be fatal. So to be an ethical breeder, it is known that if you breed those geckos together, it is very unethical because they will not survive. Okay. So if you're wanting, oh, I want to experiment, no, it's already been proven. You don't need to do your own research on those genes. People have done it, and it's not good. So stay out of that nonsense. So back to Lineage. So for most breeders, they really want to see at least the parents of the gecko. It's better if you have the grandparents because it just shows that again. It shows the line how far you've come from starting that line to now. It shows a lot of breeders they want to a lot of breeders that want to see if the geckos have spots or not, because if a gecko has one spot, if it's not a super Dalmatian, it's really not worth it. Now, I am one of those people, so I'm one that's looking all over a gecko to make sure that they don't have spots, because I love super Dalmatians, beautiful morph, love that. But if it's just or if it's any other morph, I don't want to have just a couple spots on them. You know what I mean? Um, yeah. So it also highlights the color and the brightness of the gecko. Okay, um, and the pattern and coverage of the gecko as well. Having lineage does increase the value of the gecko. You will be paying a little bit more if the breeder has lineage, just because they've gone through all of that to make sure that they can provide all of the information for that gecko. So it just kind of makes sense, right? If they're doing a lot extra work, you don't want to have that. But the good news about that is that having lineage, it also builds the confidence that your customers have in you, in your geckos, in your brand as a whole. So when you're like, oh yeah, those geckos, they're always really healthy. They always look really nice. People remember that. And I've had people come up to me at shows before, at reptile expos, and be like, oh, I knew this was you before I saw like who the sign or anything, because I know what your geckos look like. I love what your geckos look like. Um, and then going into that, there are breeders with lines that they have spent years working on. They've refined all of those traits, and the structure is just beautiful. The colors just pop, and they have those established lines. Some of those are like Emily Burke and her geckos. Everyone, you can look at an Emily Burke gecko. That's Emily's. Looking also at Altitude Exotics, his Confetti Dalmatian line. That's a line that he started. The red spots, but Confetti is when you have the red and the black spots together. That belongs to Brian. So there is a difference between red spot and confetti. If it's confetti, that belongs to Brian at Altitude Exotics. If it's a red spot, it doesn't belong to Brian. Let's see. And then you also have lines like Pangea, the XXX line. Again, very noticeable. When you've been in the hobby for a while, it's actually kind of funny. You can look at a picture of a gecko, like I was saying, and be like, oh, yeah, that's from Mercury geckos. That's from Flawless Crested geckos. I know that has to be like that person owns this gecko. And you're like, oh, yeah, this is so cool. And then you like look up and you're like, yep, that's them. It's cool to see that like you can realize that you notice the gecko and like what they produce and the quality that they produce, and that it just emanates and it just creates brand awareness, and like it brings more attention to you. It's more positive attention, of course. Everyone loves positive attention. Um, let's see what Eddie says. I'm not too familiar with crested geckos. Does everyone breed for structure with these? So Eddie, good breeders will breed for structure. That's always what you're looking at when you're wanting to produce happy, healthy crested geckos and progress the lines and progress the species as a whole. You always want to progress the structure in them. And let me show you a gecko with better structure, Heisenberg. I've never heard structure mentioned in leopard geckos. I was in leopard. That was my first ever reptile. Was a leopard gecko. He died as a baby due to impaction, unfortunately. So I never got too much into the world of leopard geckos. But I do not remember hearing about structure in leopard geckos. I'm sure there is. You can ask Joe at Wildcard Geckos or Reese at House of Reps. They know tons about geckos. But let me get Heisenberg here. Ooh, get me, bud. So this is the son of Scarlet that we just saw a few minutes ago. Um, he has really good structure. Okay, let me grab you and show you Heisenberg. Hold on, that is my chin. So Heisenberg here has a lot better head. You can see it's pretty much like a perfect diamond up top. Okay, the crests come over the head. That's something else you want to look at. Hello. So the crests, how they come over the head here, you want them to be going either straight out or down. That's part of good structure. And then you also have the head shape where you can do a triangle on top and then a triangle on bottom there. And then again, this dorsal, as wide as it is up top as it is all the way down the bottom. So again, very short nose, a very cute boy. Oh look, he's licking his nose. Oh, I moved too fast. Sorry. But the other cool thing about Heisenberg is that he has the blushing trait that comes off in his babies, and I will show you one of them in a little bit. But this is the second generation from Scarlet. So this is Scarlet's baby. This was the fifth baby of the pairing. Yeah, fifth pairing, fifth baby. She does tracking a little bit different than me, the numbers, but yeah. So beautiful, extreme Harlequin, lily white, the tricolor. And I love how drippy he is down the dorsal. That's just something I love having drippiness coming down from my gecko's dorsal. Call me weird if you want. It's beautiful. Okay. So lineage also proves genetic diversity, meaning that you're proving that you're not inbreeding the geckos and that you can prove that they don't have any genetic deficiencies or any health related issues due to inbreeding. Come on. There you go. Just like I said, mentioned earlier, lily whites and cappuccinos unethical to breed. That's why it's important to keep track of lineage, so you know what possible morphs or what morphs the parents were and the grandparents were, so you know what you can and can't pair with in the future with the gecko that you're buying. So, how do you keep track of lineage? You can write it down. You can keep it up in your head. You could have it on the tanks, and you could have apps for it. You have spreadsheets for it. For me, I have spreadsheets and I use Reptile Buddy. Reptile Buddy is an app that I have that you can download. It's not my app, but it's on my app on my phone. And it keeps track of hatch date, feeding, weight, parents, grandparents, a picture of the gecko. All the information that you can put about your gecko is going to be there. Now, how do I specifically keep track of lineage? Let's get into it. So, if I buy a gecko, and I've bought a few without lineage, like the first gecko I ever bought, Bo, I bought him from a exotic pet store, Creation Pet in Woodstock, Georgia. I like that place. It's very cool. Reef and Aquatics as well as exotic animals. So check them out. So he did not have any lineage. So what I do is I'm basically starting a line of my own. So I use the first letter of his name and add 100 as the start of the generations. So I use B as the first initial of his name, like I said, and then 100 as the first generation, and then 00 as the very first. So I'm showing that he's the start of the generational line. And so when I pair Bo to anyone, let's say I paired them to Georgia. Okay, so it would be BG if that was her Gecko ID. She has another Gecko ID. But if he was B100, she was G100. The first baby would be BG100. The very first of those two combined. The second baby that comes out is BG101. 102, 103, and then if I ever repeat the pairing again, like I said, and just increasing those lines, increasing what the structure can look like, what the patterns look like, or I just like what all of those babies look like, and I want more of those, I can repeat the pattern again. I'll do BG 200, and then BG 201, 202, doing it like that way. And then I haven't done it yet. There's pairings that I'd like to do that I've done, but I'm at the point I'm still only I have 43 geckos. Some of y'all that's like, damn, that's a lot, and some of y'all are like, only 43. I know, but it depends what side of the spectrum you're on. But but yeah, so when I breed geckos that already have a gecko ID, like when I'm buying a gecko, I get the hatch date, the gecko ID number, and the parent pics is the three things that I'm asking for after the morph, sex, all that stuff, even though I can kind of tell. But when you're asking about it, I like to pretend I'm dumb and like, oh, what is this gecko? What does it do? And all that. But so when you are doing that, let me get an example out here. So this is from Olympus and Tiger's Eye. So Olympus came from Two Girls Geckos, I believe, or no, Southern Girl Exotics. That's what it is, Southern Girl Exotics. And he had his own gecko ID number because she keeps track of lineage of SVIG XHS. So SVIG is the one parent, and then HS is the other parent. That's how she keeps track of it, by the names of the geckos. And for me, Tiger's Eye, her gecko ID number is NA114. Here, y'all can see it here. Her gecko ID number is NA114. So NA114 means her dad was Nike and her mom was Athena. So, and then she was the 15th baby out of Athena and Hercules. Or Nike and Athena, my bad. Nike and Athena. Which is kind of crazy, right? 14 baby or 15 babies. I think it was like 16 in total. But yeah, Athena is a breeding powerhouse. She's created so many babies for me. I've sold a bunch of them. I still have a bunch of them. I've done, since I did it, paired her to two different males, two different morphs. I've gotten a lot of different babies. So I have quad stripes. I have two quad stripes from them, and then I have two extreme harlequins. Yeah, two extreme harlequins from her. So I have four adults from her that I've kept. And then going on here, so right underneath so I have NA114 X SVIG XHS. So the mom and the dad. And then I have the name of each gecko, Tiger's Eye and Olympus. And then you can see on here I provide the hatch date of the gecko. Right here, you can see the 7/13/2025 as well. Maybe you can see it if I can get it in focus. And then I have the own gecko ID that I came up with. So for me, instead of putting NA114X SVIGXHS 100 101, that's a pretty big mouthful. So I abbreviated it to the first two initials in the first part of the gecko name. So, dang. You can see here I put NA for Nike Athena for Tiger's Eye, and then SH for SVIGXHS. So I'm using NA and SH, and then I have next to it 101. So this was the second gecko out of that pairing. Let's see. Are you here, baby? I'll let y'all get a look at him. He's so cute. And then I will get to your comment, Eddie. I promise. Okay, I just wanted to finish this thought first. So here's the second baby. So the important thing is too, once the gecko or the egg is laid, okay, not hatched. So it's a beautiful tricolor right here. Great dorsal, great structure as well. And then going around to the other side, that high up patterning is very nice. Go back down there now. Okay. But yeah, so and you track lineage starting at hatch date or lay date, okay? So you can see how long that the gecko incubates for. That's important because, like we've gone over before, the longer you incubate the gecko, the egg, you are going to have better structure, it's going to be heavier, it's going to be healthier because it's had more time to develop in the egg, which I always like. So, like I've said before, you incubate your crested gecko eggs at 68 degrees and they will hatch between 90 and 120 days. You'll have big babies, big noggins, beautiful babies, healthy babies. So let's get back to Eddie's comment. I have to get better with tracking for sure. I had eggs hatched that I had no idea who the parents were because they looked different than any other hatchlings. Exactly what I was talking about. You're reading my mind. So yeah, so I incubate them. When I put them in the egg box, which I got it is a jewelry box from Walmart. Okay, it is $5. Don't go crazy. And then I get Pangea Super Hatch. Okay, that's a little clay medium that I use. And from there, I label it. Actually, I'll show y'all again. This is a time to learn, okay? Strap in, Eddie. You're about to see my egg box. That sounded so weird. All right. So I keep all of my eggs in a cigar humidor. I got it this year. It's been working pretty well for me. It still holds a good bit of moisture. Um, I'm trying to add more holes to it and to make it air out better. But so this is the egg box that I have. Again, just the jewelry box. And you can see here, I have for when I am putting the eggs into the egg box, I have it Scarlet X Helios. For me, I'm still a small breeder. I know what the pairings are. I can go back and look at Scarlet's tank, look at Helios's tank, and come up with the gecko ID for them. It's not too hard for me, so I usually just put the names of it: Aphrodite and X Ocho, Heisenberg and Galaxy. I'll get back to her in a second. Tiger's Eye and Olympus, and then I just put the day it was laid. So this one was laid 6/3/2025. They're up next to hatch. These right here from Aphrodite and Ocho, and these right here from Helios and Scarlet, which I'm really excited about because Scarlet, you saw that beautiful lavender extreme harlequin, and Helios is a beautiful extreme harlequin as well. Now, so this is how I keep them when they hatch. Typically, mine never hatch at the same time. I have no idea why. Everyone else's hatch at the same time but mine. And so I have, here we go, back to the showstopper. Um, so I always can see which one hatched first, and then it doesn't really matter because you know what pairing it's from, so you can label either one or two because it's only a day, maybe a day at most, 2 days since they hatched apart. But whichever one you notice first, just get out, and I label NA SH 100. And then whenever the next one hatches, NA 100, NASH 101. And then just keep doing that forever, however many babies that are there. Now, the cool thing that I was mentioning about this one here is this is actually from Chips Ahoy, which is a virgin female. The cool thing about crested geckos is that they can lay eggs when they haven't been paired. They can lay fertile eggs when they haven't been paired. They're called parthenogenic eggs, meaning it's a direct copy of the mother. Stop looking at my foot. No free feet pics. So these are direct copy of the mom. The eggs are still looking great. She's never been exposed to a male, and this is actually from two different clutches. Yeah. So this was paired or laid 2 months ago. This was laid 1 month ago. No, 1 month ago, and then this month. That's what it was. And so that'll be really cool. Most of the time they don't hatch, but I've had one hatch so far, and that was from Athena. She laid one, and it hatched as a Partho egg, and that was cool. I think I ended up selling that one. But hello all. I'm about to get out the third generation of geckos that you're going to see tonight. So we started with Scarlet, the grandmother. She's a lavender extreme harlequin. Then we saw Heisenberg here, the first baby that I have from Scarlet. We have Peaches and Heisenberg. Peaches hasn't laid any eggs yet, so Heisenberg was the first male from her, and I have bred Heisenberg, and I will show you one of his babies now. I'll show you the first baby out of them, which he's actually a juvenile now. He's around 20 grams. And his name is Walter. Okay, actually, this is hilarious. This is hilarious. Look at this, guys. Oh, you can't see it. You see him right there? Just hanging upside down? Oh, okay, we scared him. Okay, let me get him out, and then I'll come back to you. Stay still. That was so cute. He was just hanging upside down right there. So, Walter is also a lily white crested gecko. And he is one that I am keeping. So, welcome back. Hello, I am here. Follow me. Hello. All right, so I'm just going to take it back down. But Walter here is a lily white extreme harlequin crested gecko as well. So this is the third generation that I have here that I personally keep track of at Georgia Cresties. So let me get him down here real quick. He's coming up to me. Come here. So, beautiful. Come here. Beautiful tricolor. He has orange and white. And then his sister, another one I'm keeping, is yellow and white. So I think that's pretty cool. The orange coming from Heisenberg, the yellow coming from Galaxy. But so again, you can see here, he has great structure that Galaxy and Heisenberg passed down. The humongous head that you see there, okay? The huge dorsal that goes all the way down, and then the short nose, as we've all talked about. But again, look how drippy he is on the sides there already. Again, he's going to be gaining pattern for another 10 grams or so. So I'm super excited, especially for my my first year actually like producing lily whites, because I produced Peaches and Heisenberg out of a collaboration with Surreal Exotics Olivia. So that's how I got lily whites, and then that's how I got Peaches and Heisenberg gave me Walter. Walter comes from Walter White, of course. Heisenberg, Walter White, and uh, it also is the last name of my best friend Jacob, Jake Walter. He got me into reptiles. This one has. He got me into reptile. He had a bearded dragon that got me into it. He has the blushing trait as well, and he has a red belly. I don't know if y'all can see it. He has a red belly. So this is Walter, the lily white, extreme harlequin crested gecko, tricolor. So that is how I track lineage here at Georgia Cresties. Does anyone, Eddie, do you have a question about any other lineage related questions? All right. So, as we all can see, there's a lot that goes into keeping Crested Gecko lineage, but you also see it's very important why we keep that information, so that we're building as a community, that we all know that we're building on a community of trust, that in openness, that we're seeing what we all are doing and what we should be doing and what we shouldn't be doing as well. So, with that, that has been the 10th episode of Crestie Conversations. Thank you all for joining me here on the Geckoverse podcast channel, and I will see y'all next time. Thank y'all so much, and remember, keep it Crestie, bestie.